Hello, people. This is Dr. Omogiade. Yes, I know I've introduced myself to us before. By the special grace of God, I'm a medical lab scientist. Yes, a medical lab scientist with a specialty in clinical chemistry. I have my BSc, MSc, and PhD by the grace of God in clinical chemistry. So I'm here today to briefly talk to us about our reproductive health as it concerns male fertility. So we're going to be talking about reproductive health, how it concerns both male fertility and female fertility. But for now, I'm going to be dwelling on that of male. Then subsequently, as time goes on, we'll now come back to come and talk about that of female. So make sure you follow me, make sure you follow, make sure you always like and comment. Always watch my videos because I've come here to actually educate us. Yes, to educate us about our fertility. Previously I was sending videos on penis and vagina and the rest, and people were like, ah. Yes, I wanted us to go to get used to those words because they are normal words. There's nothing bad about it except if one has something in mind. So today we are going to be looking at the role of sperm, in fertility. When we hear sperm, what comes to mind? Of course, we know that when a man, during sex, there's something called ejaculation, yes, where the man releases, and when he releases something that looks like a milkish substance, yes. Now, in that milky substance, we call it the semen. We call it the semen. Now, when you hear the semen, it's not just one thing in particular. The semen is made up of what we call the seminal fluid and the sperm cells, which I term here as sperm cells. Now, just take a look at a scenario where you have a river. You have a river, that a water that is flowing. Now, in that river, you have fishes. You have fishes in it. So the river itself is the seminal fluid. That water helps to keep those fishes. I'm still talking about the river now. The river itself, the water helps to keep those fishes alive. Now, without that water, the fish will not survive because fish, of course, we know is an aquatic animal. What by aquatic is animal that dwells in water, that lives in water. So without water, no matter how effective, no matter how good fish is to man, without water, it cannot survive. So that is how it is when it comes to sperm cells and seminal fluid, which we say both of them together are termed as semen. Now, let's leave the seminal fluid first. I'm definitely going to come later to come and talk about the seminal fluid because even as the sperm cells are important, that is how also the seminal fluid is what? Important, because of course we know that without the seminal fluid, the sperm cells will not survive. Now, back to the sperm cells. I thought all the sperm cells is just a part of semen. Semen, which is made up of seminal fluid and sperm cells. Now, if you look under here, you'll see a diagram I put up. This is how the diagram of a sperm cell looks. Yes. So I just want to introduce it here. I'm going to come to really dwell on it, so that some of us will understand why you see that some people are having issue with infertility. Yes, you see a grown man, very okay. Everything is okay. He does not have issue with erection. He does not have issue with ejaculation. He's perfectly okay. But yet he cannot get a woman pregnant. So most time there's more to it than that meets the eyes. So this is the sperm cell. Now this sperm cell has what we call a head. Like I told us, I just want to introduce it and move on to the main topic of the day, which is the role of sperm in fertility. Now, this is the head. This part you are seeing. This is the head of the sperm cell. This middle part you see here is the mid piece. While the remaining part you are seeing is called the tail or the flagellum. For those who did sciences in secondary school, in biology, when you hear flagellum looks like an antenna. Yes, it's something that aids an organism in movement. Without it, the organism cannot move. Like when you talk about some microorganisms, You see that they have, some of them have flagellum. That flagellum, just tiny, tiny spike-like kind of something that helps to make them move. So I'm not going to mention the example. I think my daughter is saying euglena, right? Euglena is an organism, it's an organism that we know that has what? It has flagella or flagellum that helps you to move. So the sperm cell has a head, it has a midpiece, it has the tail. That tail is the one that aids its movement. Now, this diagram you are seeing here is very important. Take note. That is why I said I'm going to come back to talk more on this, because from here, some of us will know why, like I said, some men who are healthy, who are very okay, they have issue with fertility. It can be, most time, it can be as a result of issue with the sperm cell. Now, what are the role of sperm in fertility? That thing that looks like fish inside river, that thing that we said is microscopic. You cannot see it with the aid of your eyes. It is only seen under the microscope. Now, when you get a semen from a man, by the time we put it on our slide and view, we'll see tiny things, tiny things, tiny, just moving. The number is enormous. It's in millions. Those are the things we call sperm cell. That is what fertilizes the egg of a woman. One of the role of the sperm cell or the sperm in fertility is in pregnancy. We said fertilizing the egg. Now, it is this sperm cell. The egg cannot stand on its own. The egg cannot fertilize itself. That is why it requires the sperm cell to do what? To fertilize it. The sperm cell has to meet with the egg of the woman, which is the ova. Yes. Now, when both of them meet, at the end of the day, an embryo is formed. From that embryo, the cell division takes place. So many things. I'm not going to be using the medical terms because I don't want to confuse us. So many things happens that at the end of the day, you'll see a baby is formed. Now, this is one of the role of sperm cell in fertility. It aids in pregnancy, where it does what? It fertilizes the egg. So we said this egg is known as, you can call it ova or ovum, maybe in plural or in singular. Yes, the egg of the woman. Now, another role the sperm cell plays in pregnancy, it carries the father's genetic material. Now, we know that the characteristic traits that children have, the characteristic traits you see in individuals or in humans, is as a result of some from the father, some from the mother. Now, half of it is from the father, half of it is from the mother. That's why most time when parents give birth to children, they will say, if you not resemble mama, you go resemble who? You go resemble papa. There must be something that will show a kind of resemblance. It can be the texture of hair, it can be the eye color, it can be the color of the skin, it can be height. Just mention it. Now, this is one of the roles that the sperm cell plays. It carries the father's genetic material, about half of the genetic material the child needs, which will now combine with half of that of the mother to make it complete for that child for that fertilization to develop into a healthy baby at the end of the day. Now, another role that the sperm plays in fertility is determining the baby's sex. Now, remember, we are talking about male now. Of course, it's men that produce semen. Some persons, some family, those days, I know that particular mite has died down, to some extent. So we have very few persons who are still holding on to it. Those days when a woman gives birth to maybe 3, 4, 5, there's also girl, now they born. Now the woman that they blame, yes, so they blame it on the woman 100%. Now so girl they born, before you know, the family of the man will say, make the married wife come for the man. Or if they don't marry wife come for the man, they will encourage their brother to go and bring in another wife. Since the first wife not born boy for her, make we bring another woman. Maybe another woman I will come born baby girl for her. You lie because it is the man that determines if the baby is going to be a boy or a girl. Why did I say so? Now, in determining the baby's sex, the man has what we call X and Y chromosome. Like I told us, I'm not going to be boring us with the terms because in fact that is we'll go deep and deep. So the man has what we call X and Y chromosome. Now that X and Y, what it means is the baby will be a boy. Why the woman, the wife, carries an XX chromosome. Now that XX chromosome stands for a girl. When the man and the woman meets, at the end of the day, if the man gives out his Y to the woman, that means they are going to have a baby boy. But when the man gives out his X to the woman, that means they are going to have a baby girl. So it is the man's sperm cell or his sperm that determines the baby's sex. Please underline that and have it at the back of your mind. Now, another role that the sperm cell plays in fertility is ensuring successful conception. Like I told us, a woman cannot pregnant herself. Yes. Fertilization cannot take place solely from the woman. It has to be a combination of the man and the woman. So for that to happen, the man has to release his sperm cells. Now take note that these sperm cells you are seeing, it's just like in the river, you have some fish that are big, you have some that are small, you have some fish are deficient, they are not okay. You have some that are very, very okay, very motile, that's they can move very fast, very active, and let's use that word. Now, the sperm cell of the man has to, if you can get a pen and paper, please do, because you need to put this down. Now, the sperm cell, for the sperm cell of the man to be able to fertilize the ova or ovum of the woman, you have to have a good count. We have what we call a sperm count in medical lab science, yes. In the laboratory, we have, when we are reporting semen analysis, yes. If we have couple that have issue with infertility, for example, when they come to the hospital, one of the tests they are asked to do is what? Semen analysis. Now we are going to analyze the man's semen. The man may be producing semen, yes. He may be producing semen. But inside that his semen, it may be water, it may be that there's nothing inside. You can have a river and no fish. If the fish is not there to do his work, what will now do the work? Nothing. So when the man comes, when they come for issue of infertility, even as they are running some tests for the woman, we also run what we call semen analysis. Now in that semen analysis, what do? We look at the count of the sperm cells. Is it adequate? Because the body, when fertilization is trying to take place, when the man ejaculates and releases his sperm cells or releases his semen, the sperm cells that are released are in millions. Now, because they are in millions does not give a reason why the woman can be pregnant. Yeah, but they are supposed to be adequate, first of all. The count is supposed to be adequate. So we look at the sperm count. Don't forget that we are still looking at ensuring successful conception, where we say it has to be the combination of the man and the woman, the man's sperm cells and the woman's egg. Now we say we look at the count. Does the man have enough sperm cells in his semen? Does he have, because we have what we call normal range of this sperm count. Does he have a normal sperm count that can initiate or that can make fertilization or make pregnancy to be achieved? That is one of the things we look at under ensuring successful conception. We also look at good motility. How motile are these sperm cells? Are they moving very fast? Because they have to move. There have to be movement. Remember, before I got to this point, I told us about the sperm cell, where I said it has the head, it has the midpiece, it has the tail. We said the tail is the flagella that helps it in movement. So the sperm cell is supposed to move. The woman body has released egg. Now the sperm cell has to move to go and meet up with the ova or with the egg in order for pregnancy to be achieved. So how good is the motility of the sperm cell? It is also part of what we look at. Do we have active motility or have a lot of dead sperm cells? So we have the ones which we call sluggish. If they are all sluggish, if they are not active enough, pregnancy cannot be achieved. Now, another thing we look at is what is the shape of the sperm cell? What is the shape of the sperm cell? Does the sperm cell have the normal shape? It's supposed to have this kind of shape. Like what we are seeing here, my children say it looks like a lizard. Fine. That is their own understanding. But it's supposed to have this kind of shape. We don't want to be seeing sperm cell that have, instead of one head, is having two heads. Imagine a human being coming to the world. Human being that's supposed to have one head is having two heads. It's an abnormality. That is wrong. So, how is the sperm cell like? Is it having the normal shape of head? I hope it does not have up to two heads, or maybe the head is not pointed enough the way it's supposed to be. Maybe having some kind of abnormality. So we look at that. So that's why we say normal shape. Is it that instead of having one tail, it's having double tails? So those are some of the things we look at. So we look at it under the microscope and we issue out our results. From there, the doctors will now know what next to do to help that couple to solve that issue of what? Infertility. So we'll come back. Now, the last but not the least role of sperm infertility I have here is competing to reach the egg. When a man ejaculates, he releases millions of sperm cells, millions. Now, out of these millions, a lot of them will move very fast. Everybody is competing. Kitty, kata, 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 kata. Na me go fair reach them, me go fair reach them. They continue to run. If all of them cannot run, there's a problem. Take notes. If all of them cannot run, there's a problem. So all of them will continue to run to go and make the egg for front. Now me go fair reach them, they continue to run. And so many of them will run. They will rush down to where the egg is. And when they get there, so many of them will want to attach to the egg. But it's only one that will now be successful at the end of the day, that will now attach to the egg, and the head will now break off and go inside the egg, where the remaining meiosis and whatever will take place, where cell division and etc. will take place, where at the end of the day, before you know it, the woman will miss her period and they will now say she is pregnant. So we have said a lot of things here. Now, in a summary, what am I saying under the role of sperm infertility? We are saying that the man must be able to what? Produce semen. Now, this semen, in it, we must have sperm cells. We must have sperm cells that are active. Take note. Active. We're not saying sluggish or dead sperm cells. We must have sperm cells that are active enough, can move very fast, get to the egg, and do what? And penetrate inside, and fertilization will take place. And before you know, the woman will miss her period and she will do a pregnancy test and they say, madam, you are pregnant, oh, congratulations. It's not a day's journey. Go and ask people and know what they do. It's not a day journey at all. A lot of work would have gone in. So what are we now saying? That for pregnancy to be achieved, now the sperm itself has a lot of role it's going to play. So in my next class, we'll come back to talk more on this. Like I told us, I want to come and tell us more about this structure you are seeing here. This sperm cell you are seeing here, because it is this sperm cell that will determine if the woman will get pregnant or not. See you in my next class. This is me, Dr. Omogiade, yes, a medical lab, certified medical lab scientist. So stay tuned, because you are going to hear a lot of wonderful things from me. Do have a lovely day. Bye.